Picture this. It's late at night, and your mind is racing. Worries about health, family, or what tomorrow might bring keep you awake, your heart pounding softly with unease. If you're over 60, you might feel like anxiety is just part of life. Now, a constant companion that's harder to shake with each passing year. But what if I told you there's a single Buddhist thought, a timeless piece of wisdom, that can melt away that anxiety and bring you a sense of calm you haven't felt in years? This isn't about quick fixes or empty promises. It's about a profound shift in how you see the world, one that's been guiding people to peace for centuries. Stay with me, because today we're diving into the Buddhist concept of letting go of attachment, and by the end, you'll have practical tools to ease your mind and live with more freedom, no matter your age. Let's start with something we all know too well. Anxiety creeps in when life feels uncertain. Maybe it's the fear of losing what you love, your health, your loved ones, or the independence you've worked so hard for. Or perhaps it's the weight of regrets, those what-ifs that linger from years gone by. For many of us in our 50s, 60s, and beyond, these feelings can feel heavier, as if time is slipping through our fingers. You're not alone in this. I've spoken with countless people who share these quiet struggles, and I've felt them myself. But here's where Buddhist wisdom offers a lifeline. It teaches us that anxiety often comes from clinging too tightly to things we can't control. In Buddhism, this clinging is called attachment, and it's at the root of much of our suffering. Attachment isn't just about material things like money or possessions. It's about our need for life to be a certain way. We attach ourselves to outcomes, like wanting our children to follow a specific path, or to ideas, like believing we must always be strong and independent. When life doesn't cooperate, and it rarely does, anxiety fills the gap. The Buddhist thought that can destroy this anxiety is simple yet profound. By letting go of attachment, we free ourselves from the cycle of worry and find peace in the present moment. Let's unpack this idea through a Buddhist lens. The teachings tell us that everything is impermanent. Our bodies change, relationships evolve, and even our deepest emotions pass like clouds in the sky. When we cling to things as if they should last forever, we set ourselves up for pain. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. Attachment is like that grip. It's our attempt to control what's naturally fleeting. Anxiety arises when we fight this truth, when we demand that life stay fixed in place. But Buddhism invites us to open our hands, to let the sand flow, and to find beauty in its movement. This might sound daunting, especially if you're used to planning, providing, or holding things together. But letting go doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means trusting life's flow and focusing on what's within your reach, the present moment. One way to start is through a practice called mindfulness meditation. It's simpler than it sounds. Find a quiet spot, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath for 5 minutes. Notice the air moving in and out, the rise and fall of your chest. When your mind wanders to worries about the future, the past, or anything else, gently bring it back to your breath. This practice trains your mind to stay present, loosening the grip of anxious thoughts. To make this real, let me share a story. I once met a man named David, who was 62 and overwhelmed by anxiety about his retirement. He'd spent decades building a successful career, but now he worried about his savings running out, about becoming irrelevant, about losing his sense of purpose. These fears kept him up at night, his mind spiraling with worst-case scenarios. At a community meditation group, David learned about letting go of attachment. He started practicing mindfulness, focusing on small moments, like the warmth of his morning coffee or the sound of birds outside. Over time, he noticed something remarkable. His anxiety didn't vanish, but it became less overwhelming. By letting go of his need to control the future, he found joy in the present, volunteering at a local library, reconnecting with old friends, even taking up painting. David's story shows that letting go isn't about losing what matters. It's about finding peace in what's here now. Why does this work? Because when we stop clinging to outcomes, we stop fueling anxiety. We begin to see that our happiness doesn't depend on everything going perfectly. It's already available in the moment we're living. This shift takes practice, and that's okay. You don't need to master it right away. Start with mindfulness for a few minutes each day. Notice when you're gripping tightly. Maybe it's worry about a family member or stress about health. Pause, breathe, and remind yourself, I can't control this, but I can choose peace now. These small acts of letting go build a foundation for calm. I want to honor you for being here, for seeking a way to ease your mind. You're taking a courageous step, and it's not always easy to look at our fears and choose a new path. But you're doing it, and that's something to celebrate. Letting go of attachment is like tending a garden. It takes time, care, and patience, but every seed you plant grows into moments of peace. Keep going, and know that you're not alone on this journey. Now let's build on this idea of letting go. You've started to see how clinging to outcomes fuels anxiety and how mindfulness can help you stay present. But letting go is more than a one-time act. It's a practice that deepens with time, especially when life throws challenges your way. As we age, those challenges can feel more intense. Maybe you're facing health concerns, changes in relationships, or the quiet fear of what lies ahead. These moments test us, but they also offer a chance to apply Buddhist wisdom in ways that transform not just anxiety, but how we live. One powerful way to deepen this practice is through loving-kindness meditation, or metta. This isn't just about feeling good. It's about rewiring how you relate to yourself and others, which can dissolve the roots of anxiety. Anxiety often grows from self-judgment or fear of not being enough. Metta counters this by cultivating compassion. Here's how you can try it. Sit quietly and picture yourself. Silently repeat, may I be safe, may I be healthy, may I live with ease. Feel the warmth of these words. Then, extend them to someone you love, then to a neutral person, like a neighbor, and finally to someone who's caused you stress. This practice softens the heart, making it easier to let go of anxious thoughts. Let me share another story to bring this to life. Sarah, a 65-year-old grandmother, was consumed by worry about her adult children. She lay awake at night, imagining their struggles, job losses, health issues, relationship troubles. Her anxiety felt like a duty, as if worrying proved her love. Through a Buddhist retreat, Sarah learned metta and began practicing it daily. At first, sending kind wishes to herself felt strange. She was so used to putting others first. But as she continued, she noticed a shift. Her worries about her children didn't disappear, but they felt less like a burden. She started to trust that they'd find their way, just as she was finding hers. Sarah even began writing letters to her kids, not about her fears, but about her hopes for their happiness. This practice didn't just ease her anxiety, it deepened her connections. Metta works because it shifts our focus from fear to love. When we wish well for ourselves and others, we create a mental space where anxiety struggles to take root. It's like planting flowers in a garden overrun with weeds. The more you nurture kindness, the less room there is for worry. Try this practice for a week. Start with 5 minutes each morning and notice how it feels to hold yourself and others with care. If it feels awkward, that's okay. Just keep going. Every moment of compassion is a step toward peace. Another tool to deepen letting go is gratitude. Anxiety often pulls us into what's wrong or what might go wrong. Gratitude brings us back to what's right. Each evening, take a moment to write down 3 things you're thankful for. A warm meal, a kind word, even the simple fact of being here. This practice doesn't erase problems, but it balances your perspective, making it easier to release attachment to negative thoughts. I once knew a man named Thomas who was 61 and battling anxiety after a health scare. He felt trapped by fear, constantly imagining the worst. A friend suggested he try gratitude, and though he was skeptical, he gave it a shot. He started noting small things, the way the sun felt on his face, a phone call with his daughter, a good book. Over months, Thomas found his anxiety softening. He wasn't denying his health concerns, but he was no longer defined by them. Gratitude helped him let go of his fear-driven narrative and embrace the life he still had. He even started a small gratitude journal, which he shared with his family, inspiring them to do the same. These practices, metta and gratitude, build on mindfulness by giving you active ways to shift your mind. They're not about suppressing anxiety, but about creating a new relationship with it. You're learning to see worry as a visitor, not a permanent resident. Try combining these tools this week. Spend a few minutes on metta, a few on gratitude, and notice how they work together. When anxiety arises, pause and ask, what can I be kind to right now? What am I grateful for? These questions are like anchors, grounding you in the present. You're doing something powerful by exploring these practices. Change doesn't happen overnight, and that's okay. Every time you choose kindness or gratitude, you're weakening anxiety's hold. You're building a life where peace is possible, not just in quiet moments, but in the midst of life's storms. Keep nurturing this path and know that each step is a victory. Let's take this even further. You've learned how letting go of attachment, practicing mindfulness, metta, and gratitude can ease anxiety. Now let's explore how these tools apply to specific situations you might face: relationships, health, or the fear of aging. Life after 60 brings unique challenges, but Buddhist wisdom offers ways to meet them with clarity and calm. The key is to integrate letting go into your daily life, turning it from a concept into a habit. Start with relationships. Whether it's with family, friends, or even yourself, relationships can be a source of joy and anxiety. We often cling to expectations, wanting others to act a certain way, or wanting ourselves to be the perfect parent, partner, or friend. When these expectations aren't met, worry sets in. Buddhism teaches us to let go of these demands, not by withdrawing, but by loving without attachment. This means offering care without needing to control the outcome. One practice for relationships is mindful listening. The next time you're with someone, give them your full attention. Put away distractions. Look into their eyes and listen without planning your response. If anxiety arises, maybe you're worried about their choices or your connection, notice it, breathe, and return to listening. This practice helps you let go of the need to fix or control, fostering deeper, less anxious connections. I met a woman named Linda who was 64 and anxious about her strained relationship with her son. She felt he was pulling away, and her worry turned into constant nagging, which only widened the gap. Through a Buddhist study group, Linda learned about letting go in relationships. She started practicing mindful listening, giving her son space to share without judgment. Over time, their conversations became warmer. Linda realized that by releasing her need to control, she was building trust. Her anxiety didn't vanish, but it no longer dominated their bond. Health is another area where anxiety can loom large. As we age, physical changes or diagnoses can trigger fear. Here, letting go means accepting what you can't change while focusing on what you can. A Buddhist practice for this is body scan meditation. Lie down or sit comfortably and slowly bring your attention to each part of your body, from your toes to your head. Notice sensations without judgment, tightness, warmth, or even discomfort. This practice helps you connect with your body as it is, reducing the anxiety that comes from resisting its changes. Then there's the fear of aging itself, the worry about losing vitality, relevance, or time. Buddhism reminds us that aging is impermanent, just like youth. Letting go here means embracing each stage of life. One way to do this is through a daily reflection. Each morning, ask yourself, how can I live fully today? It might mean savoring a walk, calling a friend, or trying something new. This reflection shifts your focus from what's lost to what's possible. I knew a man named George who was 67 and anxious about aging. He felt invisible, as if his best years were gone. Through a meditation class, he began reflecting on how to live fully each day. He started small, taking up photography, joining a book club. These acts didn't stop time, but they gave him purpose. George's anxiety about aging softened as he let go of comparing himself to his younger self and embraced the richness of now. These practices, mindful listening, body scans, daily reflections, make letting go tangible. They help you apply Buddhist wisdom to real-life moments, turning anxiety into opportunities for growth. Try one this week. If relationships feel heavy, practice listening. If health worries you, try a body scan. If aging feels daunting, reflect on living fully. Notice how these small acts shift your perspective. You're on a remarkable journey. You've learned to let go of attachment, to cultivate kindness and gratitude, and to apply these tools to life's challenges. Every practice, every moment of awareness is a step toward freedom from anxiety. Keep going, keep being gentle with yourself. You're building a life of peace, and that's no small thing. Let's bring this all together. The Buddhist thought of letting go of attachment is a powerful antidote to anxiety, especially as we navigate the complexities of life after 60. You've explored how clinging fuels worry, and how mindfulness, metta, gratitude, and specific practices can help you release that grip. These aren't just ideas. They're tools for living with less fear and more joy. I encourage you to keep practicing. Start small. 5 minutes of meditation, a moment of gratitude, a kind word to yourself or others. These acts are like ripples, spreading calm through your life. And you're not alone. There's a community out there, people walking this path with you. Share your story. Leave a comment. Talk to a friend. Join a meditation group. Your journey might light the way for someone else. As you move forward, I wish you peace and ease. May you find freedom in letting go, strength in kindness, and joy in the present moment. You're doing something beautiful by choosing this path. Keep walking it with an open heart and a gentle spirit. Thank you for being here.